Hello Geordies, welcome back to Two for Joy. Today we're going to be talking about the exciting appointment of Ross Wilson, our new sporting director. I'm going to try and give you some background info on what he's done before, what clubs he's been at, players he's signed and the kind of person he is. But firstly, if you like the content, be sure to give me a thumbs up, hit the bell notification and please sub. I'm trying to grow the channel, and the more people we can get involved, the better. If you've got any comments, please hit me up down below. Otherwise, let's get into it. So if you didn't know Ross Wilson already, he has been currently operating as the Nottingham Forest sporting director. He's 41 years old. He started his career at Falkirk in Scotland, then moved to Southampton, and then moved on to Rangers with a bit of a patchy past at Rangers, but he did bring them back to Scottish Premier League title champions in 2021. So at Nottingham Forest, Wilson took the role as sporting director, and during his time there, he's been pretty instrumental in bringing in some big names and some big signings to the club, the likes of which have seen Nottingham Forest achieve European success or reach Europe for the first time in a long time. So he was instrumental in bringing in players like Anthony Elanga, Nika Milenkovic and Ibrahima Sangare. Funnily enough, he's the same guy that pushed Marinakis to sign Elliot Anderson. So he knows all too well about Newcastle, and obviously he's looked at our team previously in transfer windows to bring in players for Nottingham Forest. I would say before his time at Forest, Wilson was at Rangers and then previously Southampton. He does have a broad remit of signings from all across the world and experiences in different backgrounds with different budgets. So most of the clubs he's been at, the purse strings he's been working with are a lot tighter than the remit of Newcastle United. And some of the signings he's made have been instrumental for the prices he's brought them in at and sold them off for. So as far as a turnaround for a sporting director to be able to bring in players for small fees and sell on for high values, he looks like he's got a real career history of doing this, which can only be good news for us. So one of Wilson's key strengths is his strategic approach to recruitment, and he's known for his philosophy of working towards a club's vision rather than just having a set style or signing. So he really works with the club's philosophy around the type of players that they want to bring in or how they're operating at the time, whether that's a youth-based focus, whether that's stars from abroad, or whether that's just signings for a low budget to sell on for high value. He's had a broad remit across all of these areas. And most of all, his time at Rangers, while most fans call it patchy and they weren't happy with some of the signings he brought in, he really had a big focus on driving youth progression and rejuvenating their squad back to a Premier League status, which is a huge task in itself. And most of the criticism that came from Glasgow Rangers fans was that the transfers didn't always pay off. And there were moments in his time at Rangers where the squad depth lacked, and it kind of shone through that they were using youth players that weren't quite ready in a team where they needed more experience. So he's been used to high pressure situations, and he overcame that situation for them to go on and win the Scottish Premier League. So I would say from that kind of background, from those situations he's been in previously, I'd hope that this high pressure job, and it is a high pressure job at Newcastle, we have lofty ambitions, probably above our station at the moment. But the Saudis have a clear vision of where they want to take the club, and they need somebody that's able to work under that high pressure. And there's part of that is where I feel Paul Mitchell wasn't able to do it. And Dan Ashworth didn't really have the credentials to go to where the Saudis wanted to take us. So, fingers crossed. Nobody really knows whether this is going to be a good appointment or whether we're going to end up in the same situation in 12, 18 months' time looking for another sporting director. But what I would say is, if you look at his time at Nottingham Forest, they have spent money, but on volume. The players he signed weren't 70, 80 million pound players. He was bringing in players like Anthony Elanga for 15 million pounds or Ibrahima Sangare for 30 million quid and Elliot Anderson for 45 million pounds. And the return on all of these players, if you were to sell those players now, I mean, I know full well if we went to buy Elliot Anderson back, I think we'd be 60 to 70 million pounds. So as an overall, he's definitely got an eye for talent. It's just whether he can bring those philosophies to match Newcastle's vision for the future. So in conclusion, I feel that Ross Wilson's appointment at Newcastle is an exciting development for the future. He's got a proven track record. I mean, one of the players he signed for Southampton was Virgil van Dijk. He brought him in from Celtic for £13 million and obviously got a huge transfer fee when Virgil then moved on to Liverpool. So he does have the ability to pick a diamond in the rough and the ability to scout players that can be world-class talents. So I would say if you look over his career and his track record from Falkirk all the way through to Nottingham Forest where he is now, I would say he's probably done his best work in the last 3 years. And on that basis, I think it's a great addition for Newcastle's vision to push us into kind of a new strategic era of signings and be able to bring in players that may be a little bit under the radar, which is probably where I'd prefer us to sign, in and around that 30 million, 40 million pound mark, rather than the big stars and the big names. Bring in your Brunos, your Tonali's, your Sven Botmans. These are class signings that, given a year, given 2 years, they turn into £100 million, assets. So what I would say is, on a whole, we probably have to keep an open mind as to where the future goes. But with David Hopkinson coming in as the new CEO and Ross Wilson as the new sporting director, these are positions we've been calling for to be filled. And finally, we look like we might have our ducks in a row and be able to push on and do something special in the next 18 months. So, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, be sure to give me a thumbs up. And hopefully, guys, hit me up down below if there's anything you agree, disagree with, or if you've liked the content or would like to see more content like this about behind the scenes stuff. And otherwise, guys, I will see you in the next one.